realized that one of the things that happened in my career in ESL is that I was inspired by the modeling of many other professionals. The first time I came to TEAL in 1975, I was 7 months pregnant with my first child. And I've attended two other TEAL meetings pregnant. And so during all these years of having babies and trying to work a little bit and trying to get a degree, I really looked to see how will this go? How will this proceed for me? And one of the things that I had in my life at that point were models of people who had indeed gone through these stages and succeeded. So I'm going to name a few names here as I go through of people who are, some of them are long retired, but Gwenda Wigmore and Pauline Long and Jerry Ormiston, some of you may remember them from the past, who modeled for me the creation that occurs in midlife, that after children are raised, and the passion and dedication they had for their students and for their careers. It was inspiring for me, and I used to long to be middle-aged so I could do that as well. At that time also in my early career, I was supported by my good friend, the late John Yates, who always helped me to see my place as a teacher was a valuable place to be. Later on, when my children were a bit older and I was coming back to work, Lynn House at UBC offered me the opportunity to start working again after 4 years of being out after the birth of my fourth child. And for her, I was really, she was an inspiration to me because she took me under her wing to say, all right, now you've reached this point, you too can pick up your career and go forward again. And it was a very touching thing for me and a very useful thing for me as well. At that point in our career at Kwantlen, we had a small, sometimes failing, sometimes troubled department. And at that point into my life came my two colleagues, Martin Williams, and through Martin, Anne Talbot. And these have been stalwart companions at Kwantlen all of these years, and I've learned so much from them, and I respect them both very deeply. And they came and helped me again to grow and helped our department to grow in professionalism. At that point in time, I was also inspired by Virginia Christopher, who was the local organizer for TESOL in 1992. And she was so amazingly able to delegate and work with people that I took her as a model of someone showing leadership in our profession. She did it with grace and with humor and also with a certain firmness, which was very good to see. The last phase of my life has been in my professional life has been from around the late 90s when my children were really starting to be grown up until now. And at this point, I was able, I think, to begin to take on more projects that required leadership, that required time, that required dedication. And I felt, inspired as I was by my earlier colleagues, Jerry and Gwenda, that I could take up this role and that I could fill in the gaps that had occurred over the years of child raising and being only marginally attached to my profession. At that time, I started to do the very things that I'm known for best, my institution, chairing committees, taking on responsibilities, and I felt that that was a period of great growth for me in my middle years, just as I had thought they would be. And at that point, critical people came into my life, adding to the people who were already there, and one of them was my dear colleague, Wendy Royal, with whom the last 10 years we have struggled to write curriculum, to change departments, to watch things unfold and deflate, but still we have worked with humor and some courage, I think, over the years. And in this mix also I want to add some people from BC TEAL when I was the coordinator. One of my good colleagues at that point was Yola Lekic, who was young and ambitious and just lovely to work with. And at that same period, my own colleagues at Kwantlen stepped up to the plate, people like Lynette Manton and Leslie Hemsworth, people who showed that team spirit could be developed out of a department that was somewhat fragmented and not always easily guided. Last year I had the great pleasure of traveling with Jennifer and Anne and Virginia when we're at the IATEFL conference. We took a little trip together. And it was another pleasure in my life to meet this later stage person who's also active and contributing and showing, again, a model for what the future could hold for me. I thank everyone, BC TEAL, for honoring me. I feel very, very honored. I thank my husband for coming today to do this, for taking photos on our camera. And there are many other people, but I think this gives a taste, I think, of the phases in my life as an ESL teacher and as a professional in our field. Thank you.